So this is after, in the back garden, after we had the men remove all the sod from the front and the back. Unfortunately, I did lose quite a lot of plants here, but this is a row of phlox that we added. I started from the dark purples and we came all the way to the light colors over here by where I'm sitting. It really turned out very pretty. I'm excited for everything to fill in and kind of spill over the edges of the walkways in time. There are also many, many new cultivars here in the garden beds between roses. I did get some sedum. We've got a little bit of hyacinth, all different types of stuff. I do have the tags for everything, and I will be showing everything in this compilation, so you'll kind of get to see what everything is and around where it is in the garden, because I take my pictures of the tags with the plant planted in my garden and showing locations. So you will get to see all of that fun stuff. So here we're in the process of amending our soil. Now that the sod has been removed, I can actually start transforming my soil. I have very heavy clay soil here, and my goal is to transform my soil into loam over time, over the next few years. So we are going to be adding lots of different organic material into the soil and then mulching it and letting that mulch break down over time and all the other organic material and seep down into the soil. Hopefully the worms will help us out as well to mix things up in there over time. And little by little, we will enrich our soil and transform it into loam, which is kind of the gold standard for gardening. This was the next step we took after we finished with the amending of the soil in the back. We started to begin to mulch everything. So what I'm using mainly is red cedar mulch. I did run out though, and so we used some bags on the right here of just some mulch that I had left over, and it was just much too blocky and thick for my liking, and it also really clashed in color. So as soon as we could in the next couple days, we went out and ended up replacing this and slowly shifted it all to red cedar mulch. So it does look a little jarring for now, but as we continue on in the compilation, it will change. And we ended up fully just using red cedar in the front. That'll be my exclusive type of mulch for the moment. So this is a bit of how everything is looking so far here. I did also pick up a bunch of sweet alyssum, because what I was looking for is a new type of ground cover to use in general, because I don't plan to use the mulch here forever. I want to either do a mix of phlox and sweet alyssum, things like that, stuff that I don't have to worry too much about the girls having issues with, and that will actually survive out here in my area. Here is a different angle of the two-sided mulch at the moment. I could not wait to get that out of there. One thing that was nice though, it really instantly transformed me to that like woodland place, because now the garden just smells so woody, especially when I water. It really is nice. It feels like my own little forest now. I love that so much. These are some of the various phlox that I put in my back borders here. The left one is a white variety, but it is not in bloom at the moment. This one is candy stripe here though. Unfortunately, it really did not convey very well on camera. It does smell wonderful though. I would like to find more varieties of phlox like this that are actually fragrant. These other ones, as we get into some of the purples and light blues, are not fragrant, but they do look lovely. Here's a little bit of a better view of some of the phlox in the border along the way here, and some primrose snuck in along the way. I cannot wait for everything to fill in and spill over. I know things are going to probably crowd a little bit here, and I'm not too worried about it because I'm sure quite a lot is going to die. Phlox does not do so well for me, unfortunately. So I'm hoping some of it will establish for me at least, but I have a good feeling a lot of it will probably not make it. We will see though, I'm very hopeful. I added a little bit more along the border in front of me for where I usually sit, and I'm thinking about around that area putting some sweet alyssum over there as well. I did put some under the patio by the Miss Kim and the honeysuckle and the climbing rose there that's on the right. Looks like we're heading that way now. This is a Zephyr and Joheen, a little bitsy baby one. I remember this day. This was a little bit of a chaotic day. Unfortunately, my living room started to leak. Like the walls were actually bleeding. Not literally, but whenever it would rain, the ceiling and by my fireplace walls were leaking. and it's really close to my whole gaming and streaming setup here, so we definitely couldn't have that. But while the contractors were looking at everything and discussing with some people about, we were setting up a meeting for if they were going to cover fixing the roof for us financially with our insurance, etc. Don't mind my hand waving there. I'm voicing over the original voiceover. Sorry, girl. We'll get to what I was talking about in a second there. But yeah, so I figured what I would do instead was get some more work done out in the garden. So what I mainly did here is get a bunch of sweet alyssum from my nearby jewel. I found it, and I started placing it around all of my different trees. So we've got some purples there under the bloomerangs. That's also another bloomerang we just purchased. It's got a rough lean there. I was complaining about the lean at the moment right here. So we have since staked it, and that will be upright just like that first one that we have close to me relatively soon, I would hope. Maybe another year and a half, something like that. We did get another one also kitty corner to it on the left side of exactly where we're looking right now. Look at the girls just having a nice time out in the yard. Looking for something to eat, no doubt. Look at Aya, little glutton. Silly little girls. But yeah, so I believe we ended up going to get the mulch relatively soon from here because we still haven't actually transitioned the whole thing over to full red cedar here from what it's looking like. But yeah, I believe this was just a clean up the plants, clean up deadhead, and I did do a lot of planting those little alyssum plugs all over the various areas of the garden beds. And I did put a couple under the wisteria here in the middle, under the arbor as well. I thought that would be very nice. It'd be like a nice natural weed suppression and give me some pretty flowers and scent, hopefully. Now, they are annual in my area. They do not survive winter, but I'm hoping that maybe through reseeding, they may be kind of like a biannual for me or something along those lines. This is a little bit of an experiment for me, so we'll see if they are able to survive or not, or if this is just like a full-on annual deal for me or not. This is my Amethyst Falls Wisteria. It's kind of one of the longest running garden projects that I've had going now. I've had this for about 5 years since it was a young sapling, and I grew it up using a beam to where it could reach the top of this arbor. Then I took several different vines and wrapped them around where they could cascade down the beams. My goal is to see it bloom someday for me, and I would love for it to be a springtime focal point in my garden. It still is quite lovely to look at, but it would be lovely to actually get the blooms and that scent that I've heard so much about. I do have a couple concerns with this wisteria though. As you can see, there are a lot of whips that are still trying to grow upward from the top of the canopy. This could mean that it doesn't feel that it's reached high enough. Wisterias like to reach the top of something and then hang down. Only when they feel that they're hanging do they really want to begin to bloom. So a concern that I have is this arbor may just not be high enough for this tree, and it may never actually bloom for me because it still feels that it wants to keep going higher. Another concern that could also be tying into this is wisteria need an immense amount of sun to bloom. This yard does get full sun, but a lot of the sun is blocked by the house and the garage. And so there is quite a bit of shade at different points of the day at different time. I feel the wisteria is probably one of the things that gets the most sun in the garden, but it still may just not be getting enough. So I wonder if its placement due to the size of my backyard, I just may not have the space to adequately give this wisteria enough sun. And it may also not have enough height. So that could be another reason as well, because it's not getting enough sun, or if this is the issue, that it may be continually trying to reach higher. I have heard that you just need to be very aggressive with the pruning whenever it tries to send these whips outward and up like this. And since I already do have it cascading down the umbrella, I'm hoping that if I am aggressive with my pruning and it continues to grow and develop up top and get thicker vines up top, that it may realize, okay, I have technically reached the top here. I'll start actually sending out some buds now. So we'll see if that does happen. Around 5 years old is kind of the sweet spot of when an Amethyst Falls wisteria could begin to bloom for someone. So it could just also be that this is a young plant still. Typically they do tell you that you should order or buy a wisteria that is already blooming at the moment so that you are aware that it is actually capable of blooming. here are some of the yarrows that I purchased for ladybugs. I know one is Millie Rock for sure, but we do have the tags that I will be showing again along the way. And then I did get some raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries, but I did decide against planting the raspberries and strawberries because of how aggressive they can be. The blueberries I'm a little undecided about if I will or not. We'll see. So this is what I meant about the comment about the walls bleeding. We had the beginning of the leak beginning to start here. These are my buckets that we use for when we're planting and stuff, so that's why they look a little on the grody side. Don't mind that. It was an emergency. I'm really stressed out though because we just purchased this home a few years ago and I love this whole living room area. I love the bricks and they have that little shimmer into them and even the ceiling has it and the walls. And I'm really concerned that once they do the remodeling in here to fix this that they're going to ruin this custom stuff here, but I'm sure that I can find somebody that can help recreate this stuff if worse comes to worse. We have since had the roof redone. We ended up getting $19,000 from our insurance for our homeowners. And we were able to use that to start getting things fixed here. So the roof has since been replaced, but we have not had this portion inside fixed yet from the inner damage. And so we'll be taking down all of my equipment pretty soon because my whole setup is here right to the side of this fireplace here. So you can see some of the wires there on the left. But yeah, so I'm a little stressed about it because I love this area so much, but I'm sure that we can recreate it or improve it in time. This is the water getting much more aggressive over time. Unfortunately, right as soon as this had to happen, we had a series of a lot of storms and a lot of rain, which was just stressing us both out. What actually caused it was a storm. We had a hailstorm and it damaged our roof, and then we began to have this leak start up out of nowhere. But thankfully things are covered and the actual roof has been replaced since this actually was taking place now. This is my weeping cherry blossom tree. It's a snowfalls cherry. This one always kind of makes me laugh. It's the third one that they sent me because they sent me two and they died immediately. This is also from Fast Growing Trees. And this little guy here, my little man, it's so beautiful, but it's just kind of a little stumped. Like he has like no trunk. They gave him no stem on the graph for this one. And it's so funny because I got this tree thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna be so unique and I am going to, this is just going to be such a nice and different focal point for my garden. I've never seen it in anybody else's yard or garden, right? So tell me why about 6 months or so after I had got this and I'm driving around and I'm looking at my area directly at the corner of my street, right at the same side of the street. The last house on my street has this tree as well. They actually have two of them right next to each other, much larger and older than mine. And then kitty corner to that across the street, they have one as well. And it's totally fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just really funny because this was my, oh yeah, I'm gonna be so unique and different with this thing. And then I've never seen it anywhere else, and then I know that they are all over the place, I just never seen one. But lo and behold, there's two other older ones on my block, so I look like the biter. I look like the one that's not very unique, right? I probably will keep it though, I don't know. Me and my fiance are a little unsure about it right now because it's kind of getting a little overgrown and it really does not look very nice once it's not in bloom here. I might just give it a nice pruning and trim and we'll hold out and hope that maybe someday it gains a little bit of height, but at this point it's just kind of spreading its tendrils across the whole front yard and taking the entire thing, and it does not look so great once it actually is leafed out. We had a little bit of a rain spell going on, as you had seen, so I couldn't get much done in the garden for a while at that point, but I did end up going out and doing some shopping, and I purchased quite a few different roses here, and some butterfly bushes and different things as well. Mainly roses though. We're beginning to finally become a young rosarian. It's finally time. I used to have some at my old home that I love very, very much and had for years. And so it's finally time that I really want to get my roses going here in my new home. In the spirit of this garden overhaul, I decided that since the wisteria is either unable to bloom yet due to its age or due to other ulterior factors, that I would start to focus on getting some other companion plants going on this arbor. And so what we have here are 4 different climbing roses and 4 different clematis. I have a Don Juan climbing rose paired with the Dr. Ruppel clematis here, and we have 3 different varieties on each of the walls of the pillars. I'm really, really excited for this. I think that it'll be a very romantic and beautiful scene once everything is said and done and grown and placed. It's just going to take a little bit more time, but I feel like this will be a wonderful way to add some nice year-round interest here so that we're not just fully expecting and waiting on the wisteria. And now that it is a little bit bigger and the canopy is larger and there's a bit more shade here, I've tried growing a stilbe before, but it didn't do so well. I'm thinking maybe I can actually begin to plant like a nice fairy ring of a stilbe underneath it. I think that would be really beautiful as well. And this certainly wouldn't be a garden overhaul without thinking about nighttime. And so I've made sure to get lots of little fairy lanterns and mushroom lights. We actually did a ring of little fairy lights here around the wisteria that I think would be wonderfully complementary to set a stilbe we were talking about beforehand. Various little glowing gnomes and things for the birds hanging off the garage. And I certainly plan to gather much more things that add more magic and whimsy as I go along. I've already hoarded many more gnomes since this footage was recorded here. Here's a ground level view of the lights. I've added quite a few more since then, but I do need to do a little bit more. I'd also like to do something with those posts over there that has that squirrel on it. That was from the old owners of the house. I believe that's a giant bug killer. I definitely wouldn't want that. So it would be nice to get our own custom posts with maybe some solar lights attached to them, something very whimsical, or maybe something even siren-esque. We'll have to see. Here we have some of the new gnomes there. There's one hiding by the tree, and some of the other lights that are on the garage in a closer view. A much better view of the fairy ring here. I thought about adding some more lights onto the garage over there, but I don't know how many more hanging things I want to add onto that. I don't want to cause anything to tear from too much weight, you know? So I think I may just leave it with that. And that also leaves a decent opening in the middle where nobody can have to worry about bumping their head off of something if they walk through. Here's a frontal view of our new little guy. It's nice because I can either use it as a little bird bath or something to put some seeds in for the birds, though I think they would typically prefer to use the ones that I have hanging up above that make them feel a little bit safer. That's one thing I love about this area is we get quite a lot of birds and we really enjoy all the different trees and everything here. This was during the planning phase when I was deciding if I was going to put my butterfly bushes here or there, the roses. I had everything laid out just before we began digging here. Look at that lilac though, it is so pretty and colorful, and my goodness, the scent was so powerful that day. Here we have a chrysalis cranberry. The text is a little hard to read on this, so I figured I would just tell you what that is. She's a little sweet, a little sassy. Here's an elevated view from my back patio. We have most of the mulch transferred over to red cedar at this point, and just about everything from this wave of plants in the ground, because I did get some more later on. And then on the right, we have a nice area where I've set up for my rose area. So we have some hybrids in the back, we have some floribundas up front, we have some grandifloras in the middle, and one little ground cover rose in the very front there. We'll see how quickly most of them die. I do not do that great with roses typically, but this might just be because of the whole tree form thing. I can't really knock myself out quite just yet. Well, we'll see how it goes. Because I do have some other roses that I have up front, like I have a beautiful pop art rose that I've had for a few years now in the front. I'm going to do a little bit of pruning and cleanup on these guys, get some of these old plumes out of here. Very carefully, because these little girls over here are very, very nosy. And somebody's sneezing. And they want to keep getting by sharp objects they're not supposed to be. Yeah, you. And you. It's looking a little bit better. I kind of wonder if I should just cut off these other two blooms so I can all reset. This dianthus looks much nicer now. I'm so bad about them. I'll always go and grab a spent bloom and just snip it. And then realize, oh crap, it had like 4 or 5 other buds on it. So, a few buds are sacrificed, but it looks a lot better. These dianthus are looking much better now. I think I got my practice round in on that first one, no casualties. I think this might be the red pixie's last year with us. I just cannot anymore. I have been fighting this thing. It came crooked since the year I got it, probably 3 years ago. And it is just getting worse and worse and worse. It never stays up, no matter what the staking. And I'm pretty sure it's set in stone this way at this point. So I'm just gonna have to say enough is enough. And we're getting rid of that. Here's the ivory silk lilac. It's not blooming quite yet. It will bloom after everything else is finished. And we have the Korean lilac standard. And Miss Kim, my troublemaker, is getting ready to bloom out here as well. I'm about to deal with all of this growth here. This update will actually be for somebody on YouTube that was commenting quite a lot about this plant. And they were very concerned about the top of it, saying that it didn't have many blooms, this, that, and the other. But this was years ago, and I had just transferred it from my old house to here when we moved, so I'm sure it had to reestablish roots. It's just, it always focuses here. This is the problem. Whatever the rootstock is for Miss Kim, I believe it's one of those big Japanese lilac trees, the rootstock, but it just constantly wants to sucker. So I'm going to try a different strategy. This time I was told to try the tear strategy instead of cutting it. So I'm going to peel these back and tear them away and see if that makes a difference. And if not for that, then I'm going to try some products that are supposed to help with suckering to make it stop. Look at this gorgeous Canada gem lilac, a masterpiece of flora, entirely overshadowed by the disgusting calling cards of local service dwellers. Litter, empty cups and plastic wrappers everywhere. I left the ocean specifically to escape the plastic floating in the sea, only to find the land dwellers dumping it right at my palace gates. Disgraceful. I'm half tempted to summon a tidal wave just to wash this sidewalk clean. It's doing very, very well here in this spot. I'm thinking about getting a little bench or something to go over here eventually. But yeah, this is going to be the next project for the garden. It's going to be removing all of these weeds, all of these rocks here in this front area. It used to have a bunch of hedge bushes here. I've actually already removed those maybe last year. But yeah, I'm going to be kind of making a mini rose alley. I had a curved, can't think of the word I'm looking for, but trellis or whatever you want to call it. I had one here, but during, not this past year, but the last year, Halloween, the winds were just insane and they blew it away. And so it broke, and we're gonna have to get a different one that can actually really stake into the ground well. But I'd like to get at least 1 to 2, maybe if I can stretch 3 arches, so that I could do kind of like a mini rose alley. And then I also plan to do a very small one here by this little walkway
I could fit at least 2 arches there, I would assume. I can fit one kind of by the end here and then another here and do like a mini alley. So yeah, this weekend we will be beginning to amend all of the soil, get rid of the rest of the grass and weeds that are trying to sprout here. And then we will be mulching this up with the red cedar just like we did in the back. And I'm going to slowly start working on sprucing up this front area, but man, these trees just want to lean. They just want to lean so bad.
There I was, gracefully gliding through my front domain to document my botanical triumphs, when I stumbled upon a foul anomaly. Someone had abandoned a sack of rotten, decomposing surface dweller noodles right in my sanctuary. I am a powerful sorceress of the deep, not a raccoon. Whatever dark, cursed alchemy created this stinky carbohydrate mess, it was swiftly banished to the garbage realm. My guess is this was probably a misdelivery. Somebody had probably ordered spaghetti for dinner because we have here some rotten ground beef, very rotten ground beef. It was not pleasant whatsoever. And I saw some Parmesan cheese in there and a little bit of sauce. I didn't really go through it much because it clearly had been there for quite a while. I just picked it up and disposed of it. This is a view of the front garden after the sod had been fully removed. My ivory silk lilac is in the far right in that square patch. I had placed all of the excess phlox that we had all around it. Unfortunately, due to the workers being unable to use a sod cutter, none of them survived, as well as the balloon flower or speedwell that had been placed all around it. I also lost a drift of sedum that was in the main plot on the far right. This was the final wave of stuff that I purchased from Lowe's. Yes, I did say there would be more plants. I had purchased various varieties of iris, as well as some woodland phlox. I did get strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, but I did decide not to plant the strawberries or the raspberries as they can be so aggressive. The blueberries, I do have them still, but I'm undecided if I will plant them to the side of my garage or not. We did get most of the iris in the ground. I put most of them out in the front. The smell on these iris, though, are just absolutely heavenly. I had to get multiple of them, as well as that variegated variety especially. It was almost like very sweet grape candy. Unfortunately, my neighbor wasn't as keen on all of the changes that I've made here. We used to be friends and we would meet up between our fences and talk about our gardens, but she has begun to take to making very unkind remarks and being very snide now, ever since the sod had been removed. And it is unfortunate because there is no true or right garden aesthetic. She likes, as you can see there, a very flat and pristine golf course style garden, where there is nothing wrong with that, but such a garden only really benefits humans. My garden is much more geared towards benefiting nature, the bugs, bees, etc., birds. We have a lot of birds around here, as well as I would like a nice, beautiful sanctuary, a wonderful environment for teaching my children if they have an interest in spending time out here in the garden with me and learning from me. I do plan to adopt within the next year. We've been preparing our home quite a lot for this very goal, and so I think it would be wonderful and really wholesome to be able to share these moments out in the garden with my children. And so this is something as I'm also really working hard on this project for, so that in time, for the next few years, the ground will really fill up with beautiful ground covers, and all of the flowers will really begin to be fully blossoming and blooming, and it'll be something wonderful for them. I proved myself wrong. We also got some lupine. Those were the last of the plants. We must be closing in on the end of them, though. Look at Miss Kim in all her glory. It just looks so fluffy and cottony. It's beautiful. Me and the girls are enjoying a nice moment outside. Look at Daria looking very intently. Oh yeah. What are you doing, baby? We have rosebuds all over everything out here, getting ready to bloom very, very soon. Look at all these peonies on the way. This one's not doing so well here. I might need to move it. I think it's probably getting overshadowed by the lilac here. But I know peonies really do not like to be moved, so I might just give it a year or so and see what happens, because this first peony never really bloomed for me. And now I would say it's probably the largest that I have. I cut it down. This is its second year, and it's doing very, very well. Much better than all the others that have just been planted this year. So that is looking very good. And then there's a whole rose bed over here, getting ready to bloom soon. We've got buds all over the place on all of these little guys. This daisy's doing a lot better. It was very, very wilted. I was not very happy, so I got it in the ground quickly. Over the weekend, I'll be planting this lupine. Look at that, we are so close to getting the first roses of the year. Many, many more all set to go. All around here. It's staying very tiny. This is the first peony I've ever had to bloom. I've only been working with them for about a year now, but the very first one I ever got is here. And it never bloomed last year, but I cut it down and it's doing probably the best of all the four. But it has not bloomed. It might this time though, it looks like. This one does not look so great. I wonder if it's buried too deeply. I'm not sure. This one also looks about ready to bloom. And then this little guy is not happy at all. I don't think it likes where it is. I think it's being maybe too overshadowed by the boomerang. That one's staying very tiny. We're getting some of the first roses of the year. Look at this, and oh my goodness, it smells heavenly. Here's another little one in here. This was a staple for the butterfly nook of my garden here. But look at this peony, the layering of the petals. It is absolutely beautiful, and the scent was wondrous. I'm well on my way to being a master rosarian. Here's one of the many blooms starting to open up here for me. And the honeysuckles begun blooming. Look at this thing. It is going to be covered in blooms. Look at that. I cannot wait. I love the sun. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of trimming though, because it's wandering over here and over this way. Zephyrin Joachim rose. It smells so good. I can't wait for it to climb up the patio as well. On the other side. Aren't these just stunning? I think they're so painterly. I love them. There's something about the splatter effect in something like these. I do have roses that are very similar, that are in a pink and sort of yellow out in the front of my yard called pop art roses. Look at these luscious peonies. They are so stunning. I really wonder if that one on the right will ever bloom. was a very beautiful sunset-inspired rose. The scent was wonderful. I cannot wait for the whole garden to be perfumed.
Got some more roses beginning to open for us. Look at those. And look at this peony now, oh my goodness. Look at that. It's so pretty. It smells so good, I love it. And the first one that I ever had is finally blooming for us. Let's go take a look.
Excuse me, girls. This one's barely starting to open up here.
Does not look too good on the outside. Interesting smell. We've got some new roses blooming too. Look at this one. Oh, that smells so nice. It's very citrusy.
Dark these ones are. They smell very perfumey. It's an interesting looking rose.
This dianthus looks so regal, doesn't it? My goodness, look at that. It's beautiful.
Unruly.
And look at the honeysuckle.
She is just ready to go nuts. Look at that. It already begin. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last year of it like this, because I just let it grow up here very wildly. But I'm going to take the hit, I think, and I'm going to cut it all the way down after this year and really take the time to let it grow up and sift through it and really let it spread up this trellis a bit more on the other sides. So I think I am going to take the time to untangle it and cut it down and redo a little bit, because it's getting very unruly. Some more Zephyr and Droheen. It looks like it's finally beginning to lose its petals.
These roses really changed color. They went from very red to now becoming like light pink. They have that pop art rose pattern on them as well. Oh, those ones smell very nice. I wonder what I've done here that the roses have all these dark rims around them. Maybe they're getting too wet. Look at this peony. Absolutely stunning.
The capture for these does not do them justice. These roses are absolutely stunning. These roses are so beautiful. They have a very pink coral color. Unfortunately, the color is being a bit washed out by the camera. They're much more vibrant. Here we have one of our climbers. I believe that this one is Golden Showers. Very, very pretty. As if the local mortals weren't enough, a band of rooftop goblins descended upon my palace to fix the roof, and left behind a trail of toxic litter. Pop glasses and sharp food canisters, right where my precious royal huskies roam. Ugh. Mess with my dirt and I might forgive you. Threaten my hounds, and you're asking for a swift and terrible curse. The surface world lacks basic discipline. Instead of placing their massive ladders in the wide open alley like logical beings, these roof dwellers decided to stomp straight into my inner sanctuary. They trampled my newly amended, pristine soil and brutally assaulted my Madame Isaac Perrier Rose. The disrespect to royalty. I have spent months brewing the perfect loam, only for it to be used as a construction mat. Heads will roll. I also wanted to take a moment to thank the person that was kind enough to help me in the creation of this model. This is Bara Buns. She's also a streamer that you can check out who's a lot of fun. This is her Twitch here if you'd like to do so. What we had done was the MS Paint Scuff model, and I almost kind of hate to call it that because they're so nice that I don't like to say that, but mine is here, as you can see. And it just really did come out so cute that it doesn't even feel like a scuff model to me. I really, really look forward to working with her again someday and adding more to this model in time.